And a good morning to you. You thought wintertime was gone.
It is not.
It was 39 was the lowest I saw this morning. I'm currently showing 43 degrees. It is nice out there. I think it's going to be, for some reason, and I haven't checked the weather today, but for some reason I think I saw that there is a frost warning for tonight.
Yeah.
But I thought the last cold night was last night. And I thought we were warming up. I know that I saw this morning.
You're right.
That Sunday is 85.
It is.
The projected high for Sunday is 85.
And Monday.
And Monday. Yeah, oh, it's back.
At it now.
Yeah. No, good
Tonight,
weather.
Laney,
Good
you were
weather.
right about the
frost warning?
Yeah.
So my wife, and, I got to get my stuff out there. I need some ferns. I'm like, chill, just relax.
Hold on.
It's not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
That's awesome.
When I used to do a little farming, we did tomatoes. We had drip irrigation, so you had no frost protection. If you had overhead irrigation, what people like that with tender crops would do, they'd turn the irrigation on at night and freeze them.
Right.
The frost is what kills them. When the sun hits the frost, it burns the plants. And so they would freeze them. Now, I didn't have that. And there were many nights that I would get very concerned because we would go early to get the early crop. And then the other thing you had to worry about in the spring, I cried one time because I watched the hailstorm come through and just beat my tomatoes when I already had tomatoes.
Yeah.
I lost a picking, but, you came back. But the weather's interesting, and you're still in a place in North Carolina that you can have some late, there was snow in the mountains.
Yes, yesterday.
Over the weekend.
Yeah, well, it was yesterday, too. They had some on the beach, and I think it's
Listen
flurrying.
to Stephen Lowe, 2 days in a row, starting with the most trusted voices in sports. Tim Smith, good morning. Richie, good morning. Andy, good morning. Stephen, I need to get you Jared's shirt, okay, or tent, whichever way you want to call it, and get that to him. You like that?
Dude.
I can say that because I'm a big boy.
Guy's got muscles.
I can say that because I'm a big boy.
He's got muscles.
I still, well, not currently, but if I had to put my money between him and Audra, I'd take Audra. She'd beat him down. Not right now because she's just living on water, but after the show when she's just bulking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Comes in here on Sunday, sun's out, guns out. She's a beast. Lincoln
Indeed.
Pauly, good morning to
Indeed.
you, sir. Good morning to you.
You talked about winter weather. Several years ago, and every years in the mountains, like in May, for example, the trees will start growing, the Christmas trees, and then they'll have what's called a blackberry winter. And, when I was living up there for that 1 year, they actually had that. And, I mean, you could
What
see.
is that?
Right. So you could see on the edges where the growth had occurred, where the frost had frozen, and it burned it like you're talking about, and it turned it black. So it looks like little blackberries on the end of the Christmas trees.
Oh,
So temporary
never heard
setback,
that.
but it doesn't. I mean, obviously, it doesn't destroy the tree, but just the new growth. And
Link said it snowed in his
like that.
mountain house this morning.
Yeah.
And I saw some other folks post that. Richie said went to a wedding this time a few years ago in Boone. On the way to the wedding, it was freezing rain, spitting snow the morning of the wedding. I have seen snow when I was a student in Boone. I had seen snow before Halloween.
Yeah. No, that's right.
That wasn't uncommon. And a pretty good snow.
Pretty good one.
Yeah.
I think it was like the third week in October when the year, like I said, we lived up there, and which was actually the mildest winter they ever had. We only had like 15 inches of snow on top of that mountain, but which is normally it's like 65 to 70, right? But it snowed on the third Saturday in October. I'll remember it, because it was almost like we were on vacation all year because we never had a weekend where somebody didn't come up and visit. It's just being in the mountains, right? And Mandy and I were outside, and it was getting a little cooler on the Saturday afternoon, and next thing I know, the clouds just rolled in where it started spitting on top of that mountain.
A lot of people do not believe that you can see all four seasons in Boone in a day.
Oh, I saw
you
it.
can do it. It's not uncommon.
So 2001, when I was coaching baseball at Avery, we played in the Freedom Easter Tournament.
And especially even more in Avery.
No, you're right. No, it's Boone. And so we're playing in that Freedom Easter Tournament. It is like about this time, second, third week of April. we're playing down at Freedom. It's 73 degrees, and I'm getting sunburned. All right, arms are just baked.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because it was Easter tournament, we didn't take a bus down. Just had the kids come down, so we didn't know if we were playing 1 or 2 games. It was that kind of tournament for, it wasn't like it lasted 3 days. It was kind of a 2-day thing. You play 2 or 3 games, whatever. So and it's not that far. It's like 45 minutes. So the kids, parents would come on down. So we all just drove, whenever. I just said be here by a certain time. And so I called Mandy when it's time to go home. I said, hey, I'm on my way back up the mountain, fire up the grill. It's a beautiful day. She said, it's 36 degrees up here, and it looks like it's going to snow, and it was like 60 at lunch. This is like 4:30. Yeah. And I said, honey, there's no way. It's 73 right now, and I'm getting ready to head up past Steel Creek. Yeah. And she said, I'm telling you, it's cold. I got home, 31 degrees, and it already coated the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So you're 100% correct.
Oh.
It was insane.
The saying in the mountains, especially in the Boone and
the stuff was
there.
blooming. Oh, my God.
Ronnie, good morning from the Outer Banks. Ronnie and Mary Jo down at the Outer Banks today. The saying about Boone was, if you don't like the weather, just wait 15 minutes because it'll change and you'll get
now,
something.
Ronnie
different.
has some interesting weather at the Outer Banks. Just the way winds and. I was talking to Mark Midget several years ago, and, of course, Ronnie and I had this conversation back in the fall. We're just talking about, how quickly it can get cold.
Mm-hmm.
Just being out there like that and the wind coming down the eastern seaboard and everything. But, he and Mark, and, they've seen it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting.
And it's amazing how much difference, let's say, mid-50s feel on the beach.
Right.
Because coming off that water, the wind, it feels like it's 20 degrees colder. And, when we were at the beach golfing, the sun was burning a little bit, but the wind, we were kind of getting some wind burn because the wind was blowing all the time. That's the other thing.
How great was that trip, just the comfort of the days and we just
I'm just afraid we'll never see weather like that trip.
Because time of year we go, we're good.
We're
good.
It was perfect.
Oh, man, it's
the only
great.
rain we got was the day we'd already planned to be off and just eat.
That was a great day off, wasn't it?
That was a great day off. Yeah.
Wow.
We introduced a Canadian couple to Low Country Bowl because they had no idea what we were making in the pot. And they brought some kind of pasta.
Some kind of like
we swapped food.
You meet really nice and very interesting people.
Yeah.
When you go in a group like that, it's just
and we were staying at Barefoot Resort and I didn't realize that the back of the condo was on a fairway till we started getting pelted with golf balls when we sat there cooking. Ronnie said it's 48 degrees now with the wind out of the northwest at 18 miles per hour, calling for frost at the Outer Banks.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
so it's a little chilly.
Yeah, I would not want to be out
Happy
there.
Easter.
Would not want to be out there
Happy
battling the elements out there.
Oh, me.
Let's see what's going on. I tried to watch last night. It was Tampa Bay and Birmingham, I believe, was the USFL game. And I think it was Mark made the comment yesterday that, pretend like it's the pandemic and put some cardboard cutouts in the stands because last night there was nobody there.
Right.
I mean, legitimately nobody there. Over the weekend, those games, the lower part of the bowl was pretty well full. Wasn't bad.
Right.
Last night, there wasn't anybody there. And I think it was turf, but that was some of the best-looking turf that I've seen. It almost looked like real grass.
I tell you, Lenny, I wouldn't expect this weekend to be overly populated with fans due to it.
It had 3 million
Easter.
viewers.
But no, I meant like in person, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you that as long as people remain open in general to what the league is trying to do, these are a lot of young people and it's a couple old ones that have not played for several years and are trying to get back into game rhythm.
There was a former New York Giant on there, Kyle Laletta, quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep, he got to play some last night.
I think what you'll see is, and it shows you, even early on, why some players, are not in the NFL. You can see that. But I really think just, giving another opportunity to so many people and I'm talking about men and women, just the growth of football and the inclusiveness of it, right? And multiple levels, from officiating to training staff to play calling to coaching. This is a really good thing. And as long as people, will try to stay actively engaged in the sport of football and not worry so much about USF, the letters of it, to understand that this is a great thing that will provide, not only, a temporary living for a lot of people, but also an opportunity that they otherwise wouldn't get. Just
P.J. Walker was the best quarterback in the league before, and I guess he's still on the roster at the Panthers, and he actually got to play some.
Well, I like the boy the Patterson kid that played on Sunday. I watched played for it may have been the Michigan. No, it was the Michigan and oh God.
You got Michigan, New Jersey.
They were playing this
Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay.
Keep going. It's
Birmingham.
It was
somebody help me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Michigan, and they had C. I think their initials were CEN. But anyway, the point is this can be a great thing, and it can help mentor Lanny people that want to get into coaching. To get into front office if the National Football, if the NFL will look at this and the XFL in the right light, it will only enhance the quality of the NFL, which desperately needs to happen on the bottom third teams. Desperately.
On Saturday, it was the New Jersey Generals and the Birmingham Stallions, and on Sunday it was the Houston Gamblers and the Michigan Panthers. On the second game Sunday was the Philadelphia Stars, the New Orleans Breakers, and then the Tampa Bay Bandits and the Pittsburgh Maulers was last night. I'm still a little confused, unless it's just from a pure cost and expense standpoint, why they're playing every game in Birmingham. It looks like if you had some home games, you could attract more fans.
I don't think that's where they are. No, that's a great question. And so looking in this, reading a little bit, I think what they're trying to do is get neutral sites, get everything, iron out the little idiosyncrasies, and any of the issues that come up, and then look for contracts for expanding into stadiums and getting the interest in. I believe my only regret is that they're starting about the same time that baseball starts for opening day. Now again, I have no idea why they picked this time. They're the experts. They've had people vetting this. They know why, but one thing that I would like to know more about is why they didn't start about a month ago.
Yeah.
Give about a month off for football.
I thought it was going to be around March 1st. Well,
that's kind of what I'm getting
at, right? Weeks after the Super Bowl when they were going to get going.
But I think that would be good because then we get fan engagement. It's not running into baseball. Yeah, and you know what I mean. Think about guys like, baseball purists,
But I'm one. There's not a bigger baseball purist than I am.
Pureful, but giving that are football fans too, but giving them that opportunity to see a little bit before baseball season starts, so they don't have to choose between the two.
No, I agree. I agree. Yeah. Yes, Lincoln, they're all playing in Birmingham this season, and maybe that's it. But I think. The one thing that I think startup leagues like this will do is they will take what came of this season, they will analyze it. What tweaks and adjustments can we make to make it better next year, which is something a lot of leagues don't do. By God, we've done this since we started.
This is the way
we've done it, and we're going to do it this way. That's it. We're not doing anything.
The other thing too, Lenny, that maybe is part of this is they weren't sure where we would be with COVID, right? If we would have another surge, and so by centralizing things and keeping everybody in the same place, they have a little bit more control over how to put the product on the field.
I'm trying to remember. Right. I think Juju told me it's $6,000 a week. Does that sound right?
I'm sure.
They're going to make $60,000, $70,000 for 12 weeks or whatever. But geez, that's pretty good. That's more than coming out of college you can make in a regular job.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being on the practice squad in the NFL. You make over $100K.
Right.
I took that.
I tell you, the measurables that come out of this, though, that GMs and coaches like Belichick will pick this league apart, man.
Oh, I know.
And that doesn't mean he's going to take a tremendous amount of people out of it. but he watches guys. I mean, anybody that could pick out Kyle, and not that Duggar wasn't a great player. I mean, we know how good he was. You know, he didn't need really any advertisement, right? But for him to know that he was in, just by watching him and you know, studying him, and that he knew that he was NFL ready. I mean,
and that was settled way
early.
early.
Yes, it was almost
and nobody
like
else was really looking at him.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And you know, a guy like Belichick, for example, can get what's that boy's name? This the wideout that plays him, Chris something. That didn't even play college football. He was a lacrosse player. But he's one of the wideouts, and you know, for him to just see that guy in training camp and say, he's a little bit taller than Edelman and those guys, but he's got a lot of the same attributes. And he can be a possession receiver.
Lincoln, that's a great question, and that'd be a good place to go when we get back. Let me take a break. We're going to look at the difference in the rules, how the rules are different. And I will go ahead and tell you this. Tomorrow, we got another trio show. Juju and myself will be here in the morning at 8 o'clock. Juju's got a little category he wants us to play with a little bit about a topic. So we'll do that. But take a break. Be back in a minute.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with department staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. And welcome back.
Oh, it's so good.
The dew time.
Yeah.
We were discussing cranky crab. In case anybody was wondering, we both do the cranky crab. What's over? If you haven't been to,
my dad taught all the Proctors over at 4. You know, Michelle.
Well, I told you I grew up with her
right,
daddy.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
Yeah.
it's so funny that how interconnected Vail or the Ford and West Lincoln community is. Yeah.
And this was over at Riverbend Creamery. If you haven't been there, off of Ritchie Road, off Stuntown Road, that's a dairy. They have their own. I don't drink that much milk anymore, but they swear it's the best milk ever, especially the chocolate. The ice cream is phenomenal. They make their own ice cream, but like they had a customer appreciation. They had a ton of food trucks over there on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And it sells out quickly.
Isn't that great?
And if I'm not mistaken, I usually go on Fridays up to Mountain View Hardware because she has a little different menu. But now warm weather's coming on, so she'll stop that. But she was scheduled to be there this Saturday and Sunday at Riverbend, but she's going to Lake Hickory Marina on Saturday. She's going to update her calendar, she told me, but she would be over there on Sunday. But if you hadn't had the fish, you need to do that.
It's incredible.
Yep, you need to do that. We do it on a regular basis. Let me go back to Lincoln's question. He said, how about the rules like the last 2-minute clock stops for first down? Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Games are too long. You need to have a running clock, especially in younger ages in games like this, down to the last 2 minutes and then play by the rules. If you want to stop the clock, got to call timeout. But you don't stop the clock. You just let it run. And especially in the NFL, you're talking about the thing that people don't understand when you talk about safety and injuries. You cut down on the number of plays, but you don't hurt the game. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing in high school football. It's lasting way too long with all the throwing.
JV basketball games? Oh, my God.
No blood, no foul.
Stop.
But they really, it's about development then. It's not about, of course you got to play by the rules. But you know what I mean. It can be modified, to keep the speed of the game up so the players do not get not complacent, but they don't get just kind of settled in and it's not a lot of action. Same thing with football. One thing, and I think Link was, one of the officials, for a long time. I think one of the things that will help is, and it'll help officials too, there's a little bit too much downtime in football across the board, like you're talking about. Too much time in between plays, especially with out of bounds and, no clock running. What happens is it's not really there's too much time in between those plays, but it's the clock. The quarters and period, they just seem to last forever.
And the difference between
stop that.
And I can't remember what it is, but there's a difference, and maybe not in high school, but I know there is in some of the leagues. The play clock, it's either 40 or 35 or 30 or something.
Right.
There's a difference.
Right.
And I don't know.
Well, this is great, though, the experimental part of things, just trying to figure out a more efficient. A lot of people use the word better. Sometimes better may not be the word that needs to be led with. Maybe because efficiency will lead to a better outcome and better experience, right? Because there's not all this, this is the way we've always done it. When somebody tells me that, the first thing I want to do is change it.
First thing I want to do is choke you. Because I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Early in my coaching career, I had an athletic director tell me that up in the mountains. That was the former football coach's job I was replacing because they asked him to be the full-time AD.
Basically,
and he said,
down.
Coach, we can't do that. We've always done it this way. And I, of course, me being in my early 30s, the filter was still a little – I was still working on those things. And I looked at him and I said, that's why you've always lost, and we need to fix these things, okay? We need to fix them. Of course, I probably should have said, that's great, but can we look at maybe, this way, an idea I've got? I'm trying to be a little bit more, together.
No.
I kind of started that first meeting on the wrong foot. But anyway.
It's okay. It's okay.
Life moved on. Everything was fine after a couple of weeks or months. So.
This is the other one of the big changes, and this is something that needs to be addressed completely, is kickoffs in the USFL will take place from the 25-yard line, meaning that all kicks are pretty well returnable.
Yeah. And they need to be.
Either make them returnable or take it out of the game.
No,
one of the two.
It needs to be returnable.
Yeah.
We need to have the kicking game in football. We don't need to eliminate that because somebody's afraid they're going to get hurt.
Now, here's the other thing. But they do it differently, because the thing that's bad about punts and kickoffs is the speed of the players in the collisions. So here's what they do.
Yes.
It's also taking precautions to limit the opportunity for high-speed collisions. One such precaution will be having the kicking team's personnel line up no further than 1 yard behind the kickoff spot, so you don't get a running start.
Right.
The other will be establishment of a setup zone for blockers on the receiving team.
Yes.
So the setup zone is located between the 35 and 45.
Mm-hmm.
The receiving team must have at least 8 of its blockers in that area. Yes. This will allow the receiving team a chance to set up blocking for a return while also creating fewer high-speed collisions. Once the ball travels 20 yards, the receiving team must be the first to touch it.
Yes.
If no member of the team touches it, then the ball becomes dead. The receiving team gets the ball at the spot where it's dead. So it's not a live ball like most kickoffs you think of.
Yeah.
More like a punt.
Yeah,
more like a punt.
And that's cool. Yeah. And the other way to do that, too, I know what they're doing, and that is a really good idea. And the idea that I'd had that I talked with a couple of guys about, a couple of weeks ago or whatever, talking about kickoffs, was why not let the receiving team line up 4 to 5 yards away from the kickoff team?
Mm-hmm. I like that. Like a line of scrimmage kind of thing.
Make 6 or 7 of them up there, and just say, look, here it is. You can slow some stuff down that way too.
This is my favorite rule, and I've said this is my favorite rule, and I want this rule in every sport.
Okay.
The onside kick. The onside kick will be a team who wants to attempt a onside kick chooses to run a 4th and 12 play from their own 33. The same place from which an onside kick would be attempted. Mm-hmm. If the team converts on 4th and 12, they keep the ball. If not, it goes over like it would be on downs.
So this is what I would do. I say I would do. This is maybe a thought. I would line up. Quarterback, most of these guys are going to have pretty good. I mean, we know they're going to have really good arms and can throw it. Mm-hmm. Line up, spread them out, sell that sucker.
Mm-hmm. It's as good as a punt,
right? But don't do not the Hail Mary side of it. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about throwing it deep. And people say, well, yeah, but they can knock it down and they can do this. Yeah, but what if you get a pass interference call? Right. What if you get what if it is ended up being picked off? Then really it's just as good as a return kick. Mm-hmm. Now most people say, yeah, but they'll just knock it down. A lot of times you got to secure the football because you don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Look at some of the Super Bowl catches.
Yep.
And tip balls. From back when the Steelers and with Franco Harris's thing. Mm-hmm. I'm just getting maybe playoff Super Bowl whatever, but just.
Now here's another thing on punts. This is a difference on punts. Gunners are not allowed to line up outside the numbers.
Right.
So you can't spread really, really wide.
Right.
And the receiving team is not allowed to double team those players until the ball is kicked. So you can't line 2 guys up there on him and push him out of bounds. I've never liked that. Let's see. Game timing. USFL use a 35-second play clock and a 25-second clock after administrative stoppages.
I saw that the other day.
The NFL currently uses a 40-second play clock, so this change in theory could create more plays.
Right.
Additionally, the USL is planning to stop the clock after first downs during the final 2 minutes of each half. Each half, not quarter, each half.
Each half, yeah.
This will allow teams to save time on 2-minute drills and, again, create more plays. Mm-hmm. They also have implemented 2 forward passes.
I like this behind the line
I like that too.
Yeah, I like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. You can do it now, but it has to be a lateral to do it.
So it's not really a forward. So it's not really a pass. It's a lateral.
That's correct.
To your point, yeah.
Like a flea flicker kind of thing. But now you can pass it. And as long as you're behind the line, you can pass it again.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's another thing that I'm interested to see how it works, the sensors in the ball. No chain crews.
Right.
The sensor in the ball is looking to accurately measure for first down. How it's going to do that with sensors, they will help officials decide whether the offensive team made the line to gain. And it said the system is very similar to what's used in tennis to determine whether a ball is in or out. If you've ever watched tennis, I love that part.
No,
where
they chip in it. Yeah,
yes,
it's legit. It
I
changes
like
the dynamics of watching the game, not playing it, but watching it and observing it. All right, I do have a question on one of the rules.
Okay.
So if you can do 2 forward passes, what happens with the shuttle pass?
What do you mean? What happens?
Is it a fumble if it's incomplete? You know, in high school football, this is where the shuttle stuff started. Well, actually, went in college.
Mm-hmm.
It was created in high school football, where the quarterback out of the gun or not, he could be under center, runs back, and then a person comes across in front of him and he shuttles it out. So if you're allowed 2 passes, does that mean that the first one, if it's not catchable, is it a fumble? Does it? You know where I'm getting at? Does that make sense? I'm trying to describe it the way. You see what I'm saying? Or is an incomplete pass just an incomplete pass? If that's
I don't know.
If that,
I don't. I mean, that's a great question because I don't know, and that was the whole basis behind the shuttle pass.
Right.
Was to allow almost a forward lateral and it not be
even behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah, right.
And that's why a lot of jet sweeps don't hand off now.
You flick it.
They do a little flick because then it becomes incomplete pass.
If you hand it off, it's a if it let go, it's a fumble. I wonder how they're going to do that.
Should a pass that is caught behind the line of scrimmage, should that have been changed to where it's an incomplete pass or a fumble? If you're going to allow 2 passes behind the line of scrimmage, you're about going to have to make it a fumble.
That's kind of what I'm getting at, right?
I would think, yeah.
So, my thing is, are they trying to provide the opportunity to throw 2 passes, and you know what I mean, from behind the line of scrimmage, 2 forwards, or are they just going to go ahead and use regular rules and say, if you don't catch the first one, it's just incomplete? Because you have a lot of what's called tunnel and bubble routes.
Yep.
For our listeners that, watch football, but maybe
Clemson does it all the time,
right,
and I hate them.
Okay. Yeah.
All of them.
But and those are, some are laterals, but some are, forward passes, barely, that are still behind the line of scrimmage. So I'm wondering how and wondering if they're going to have that rule from tackle to tackle that it would be a fumble, but outside the tackles, if it's forward and incomplete.
It doesn't get into that. It doesn't get into the details about that.
But I think it's a good. I think what they're doing is a good thing. It makes the game more exciting.
Yeah,
Puts another twist in it.
A lot of people don't like what they did with the with field goals in the NFL, backing them up, but it changed that automatic field goal, and I like that. If you were going to keep it where it was,
the extra point. I'm sorry,
I meant extra point.
No, but I know.
They were 99%.
Yeah,
sure things. And so just give them a point and forget about it,
Well, it wasn't a big deal,
right.
For either team really, because it was just so mainstream and you didn't want to spend all your effort and energy trying to block like you said, this got like 99% success rate. Now you can really change the dynamics of a game.
And you have a problem with the 3-point extra point attempt.
Not that I have a problem. I just think that, looking at it from, again, just conversation. I love what they're trying to do to create new opportunities, but I think when you've got to take a ball 80 or 90 or 70 yards and get 6 points, that getting 3 from 10 is a little excessive.
Yeah.
But now that doesn't mean I don't like the 3-point thing, but maybe let's look at the 15-yard line to earn the 3 points. Instead of just throwing a quick fade and letting the guy that's 6'19" jump up.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Jump up and grab it. Right? I don't know.
Let me give you some comments that came in. Richie said for the baseball guys, Freddie Freeman got his first home run last night, and it was against the Braves.
It's fantastic.
Mark said, I know Ford's position on the electronic devices used for pitchers and catchers. I've been reading and hearing that games that are played using this technology speed up the game, which is a good thing. We'll come back to that.
Yep, it does.
Wanted to ask what he thought about a pitch clock as well. Nothing more boring than watching a pitcher wander around the mound or Big Papi adjusting his batting gloves. It's both sides. It's not just pitchers. It's batters as well.
Yeah, and it's, a lot of that was done for entertainment reasons, but by certain individuals, right? They go through and they do all these things, like Mark Fidrich and, all these guys, Goose Gossage and, and then, they would have their rituals. And then you had the guys that would do all this stuff,
right?
While they're pitching the ball, and like Mark's talking about the back and forth like 6 times with the gloves, and but to Mark's point, the entertainment of the game, in my opinion, is very important but flow of the game so the entertainment can be enjoyed.
That's correct.
While the live action is not going on. Has to be at a sustainable point where engagement does not go away. And it got to the point where there's too much BS going on with everybody having their little ticks and nicks and, this is my pre-batting ritual. And let me tell you something. Mark brought up a good point about the pitch clock. The umpire behind the plate has the opportunity to call a ball when the pitcher's delaying or call a strike when the hitter's delaying. So there can be some enforcement. The problem is that most –
But then they're going to argue with you for 5 minutes. It's going to be worse.
That's the other thing. They're going to start crying and, because you can't do that to me because I'm special and I'm unique and the world is my oyster, because I was told that growing up. All I need to do is go to college. But anyway, it's just one of these things that you've got to find – that common ground.
They have a medium,
right? And I don't like electronics with pitchers and catchers, but if it becomes efficient and works, then I'm most willing to accept.
I'm going to give you my thought on that because you know that I'm an old school baseball.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yes, Mark. They have hush puppies and they're homemade. She makes them. She makes the homemade.
Highly recommend
hush puppies right there.
Yeah.
Link says the clock in high school stops too much, especially on incomplete passes.
Right.
You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Andrew said, speaking of food, the Bull would have made you guys proud over the weekend. They were eating those Amish country buffets, and it was amazing. Bull's amazing. Link said 40 and 25 are the two clocks. They're different.
Football.
Richie said he'll have to find the cranky, not crazy, cranky crab. Good morning, Sissy.
Good morning, Lindsay.
Mark said, will a rule like that help the Tar Heels field an onside kick? We know how they struggled with that last year against the Wolfpack. Morning, Milton.
You know what? That's a good point.
Yeah, Wesley one time played T-ball, and that's a whole different story I'll have to tell because I almost got in a fight because I was the coach. Richie said one of the Braves pitchers wasn't allowed to get his 8 pitches off the mound when coming into the game. The ump let him get 3 and then told him to play ball. Steven said, I would like to have seen him at Rico's with us on the Rio's on the golf trip.
Really.
I think Wes has been to a Brazilian steakhouse, or you might be talking about
the Bull, but West.
The Bull,
West, yeah. But I think the Bull would enjoy that.
You know that's a call. Just put your hands on the ball. Why the freak are you standing sideways and watching it go by you? Well, it's just, some kids aren't as educated as they should be. Let me take a break, and then we come back, and I'm going to talk to you about electronics and baseball because I feel like my voice needs to be heard.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
At Stifel Nicholas, we're committed to offering investors personalized investment guidance. We're a full-service organization with departments staffed with professionals that specialize in a wide range of investment opportunities, from the most conservative to the most aggressive. We strive to give each account, regardless of size, careful, individual attention. Call 4Member today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC and the New York Stock Exchange. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Well, we were solving most of the world's problems during that break, but it was so short we couldn't get them all finished. Look at him. And that wasn't the mountain. That wasn't the mountains of Bush, just in case. Let's see.
Oh, the horses.
Now, I do have some Angry Ales back there if anybody needs one. I always say when I get my Pepsi, when Juju and I be here on Monday night, I'm like, I'm going to go get me another beer. He's like, you got beer? I'm like, well, yeah. You want one? So we had one night. Mark said he's looking forward to the T-ball story. I'll try to get into it. Just try to get into it here just a minute. Let me expand on my baseball. Keevan and we're talking Saturday. We're talking Saturday about how some major league teams have to game plan based on certain umps that are behind the plate.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Joe West
did it for years. No, that's right. That's right.
But here's and I've said that's why so many people that aren't the absolute purist are calling for a change, because the problem is I don't care what your strike zone is, as long as it lasts the whole game.
And that's why you
and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
Most pitchers take the first inning and find the corners, and they want those corners to remain the same place. They want to know how big that zone is at the beginning of the game, and that's where people get irate. When you get – Kiever was talking about it. I can't remember a game that they were doing. The strike zone grew 6 inches in the sixth inning.
Yeah, especially how hot it is.
And that's not good. That's not good. And then the other side was you're more apt to get an outside corner call, than an inside corner call. And they say, well, maybe that's because they can't see it as well. And I'm like, I'm betting it's because that will keep pitchers from throwing inside, thinking that, well, I can get the outside corner call easier. He's not going to give me the inside corner. They're trying to protect the players and some of those things.
So maybe at the major league level that may be possible. But what I've seen in high school and Legion ball, and even in college ball, all right, when I coached at UNCA, and then the college summer teams, the collegiate league teams that I've coached.
Wooden Bat League?
Yes. Each umpire is very – and that's okay. We're all different anyway. They're very unique. And what I found is working with them instead of against them, what was always – now I learned this later after many episodes, all right? All right. But working with them on the strike zone, like you're talking about, and trying to figure it out. So what I developed for example, was something called the consistency ratio. So I had a dot plot chart that I used, for each umpire who we had behind the plate, because we would have, about every week we play, let's just give an example. We play 5 games a week or 6 games a week. There's a good chance we'd have the same guy twice behind the plate. No problem. We just need to know who it is. And so if the consistency ratio that we found for that home plate umpire, then we knew how to pitch based on the pitcher that was pitching. Not necessarily how to pitch that batter, but how to pitch to the zone, how to throw to the zone. And it was very interesting. And so I started working with David Brown, who I know you know. He's head of officials. He lives down in Forest City. He's ACC, SEC guy. Done basketball in college and baseball guy, right? And he's head of officials down kind of like the booking agent. Of course, Seth Keener here in our area, who was from Hickory. He teaches at Ford. He's a year younger than I am. We played ball growing up against each other, against each other growing up. And what I'd learned to do was learn each umpire behind the plate. The basis, I knew what I was getting, and that's okay. All right, who you could talk to about things and who you just needed to let it ride.
I never learned that when I was coaching.
Yeah, well, I
talked to everybody.
Lincoln. Right. And so, if the consistency ratio was off after the 3rd inning, I gave him 3 innings and we dotted everything. All right, and we used the same sheet on the same umpire. And if things were a little off, I had a chart, and I'd simply go up to him when I was going out to coach 3rd, and I'd say, "Hey, you out of your zone tonight." And I would not tell them that to try to rattle them. I had to be real discreet because they knew what I was doing. And I wasn't doing it trying to get a call. What I wanted was consistency.
That's all anybody wants.
So the efficiency of the game could continue. And I think once officials – now some of them were like, "You're telling me." I said, please, 2 things. Number one, don't ever do that to me because I'm a baseball guy. I put in 80 to 100 hours a week with this. You show up for 3 hours in a night, and I appreciate the 3 hours you show up. But please don't do that. Don't ever do that or say that to me, ever. That's a big mistake. And number 2, I'll be your best friend, or I can make life hell for all of us. Okay? And I mean, I was –
No.
But what I want to do is set a standard of communication that was as professional as it could be, but at the same time, we were getting their best effort. And I would call our booking agent, David Brown, at the time, and I'd say, "David, so-and-so didn't have a good game last night. Send him back tonight. Let him try to have a better night." He's like, "Well, you're not going to mark him off?" I'm like, "No. I want these guys to be as good as they can be.
Look,
so my guys can be as good as they can be." It's like this. And then I'll shut up.
No, you're good.
It's like this. When you have players that train at a very high level, okay, like in Legion Ball, or let's say the kids that train over in the facility, right? What happens is a lot of times you'll hear people say, "Kids play needs to rise to the occasion." No, what you do is you fall, and you and I've talked about this, to the level of your training. But then if you have officiating and this is huge, coaching that cannot match the level of training that the player's getting, then what happens is the coaching level that is coaching these kids down here that don't train and just play, these players are brought down to that because everything kind of balances itself out.
Same thing in the classroom.
That's why yesterday when I was talking about, make sure when you have people coaching kids, especially the ones that are training, okay, and you've got to have people that are qualified and understand that level of the sport and the game, no matter if it's football, basketball, baseball. Why do great basketball players like Dillingham Kid, why do they leave the area? Because Daniel Willis doesn't coach at every school.
Right. But here's what's happening is that's why the places that you play now are separating.
Yes.
Because
there are high school leagues and high school teams in Charlotte that are forming their own high school team from area players like you would a travel summer team, because the level of – and I'm not just picking on Charlotte. I'm talking about just anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's happening everywhere. And it may happen here at some point.
Sure.
Because it's just a natural evolution
That's
of
right.
things. Because what happens is if you don't have – and what I mean the coaching, I'm not talking about the in-game management.
But it goes back to that consistency thing. It goes back to the consistency thing.
Which is the officials thing that I'm talking about. Everything in the game has to work
all
together.
Players. Everybody that's involved.
Yes.
Officials, coaches, players have to all be on the same level.
Right. And people say, "Well, that kid's not let's say baseball. That kid's not hitting the ball, and he does this all the time." Listen, that has everything to do with the people that he's surrounded by in that given moment in the environment, okay, and whether or not his play is elevated to this based on what's being offered by the coaching staff and the people that are in charge, or if what they offer is more towards this, which is going to bring all these kids to here. And that's – I was talking to Bobby – everybody calls him Bobby Dale. Bobby Reynolds yesterday. They were heading down – he's helping Drew coach the team at East Rutherford. You know, Drew's the head coach now, his son. And Bobby's just helping out. He's a baseball guy. He loves it. We're talking about, you know, Legion ball and things like that, and just getting called it. We hadn't talked in a month. And we were talking about that yesterday, and I told him, I said, you know, Bobby, I study behavior, and that's one of the things, like with you and Mike Grayson and Henry Jones and, you know, Bruce Bowl, you know, the great baseball guys. The one thing that I see is the game never passes you by. You know, yes, you can manipulate games and do things like that, but the teaching side of things, you know, is what's so important. And, you know, ever since I've been working with him professionally, all right, and this is since I was like 22 or 23 years old. It was nothing to get a call from him once a year back then, or see him in a clinic and say, hey, I got this kid's doing this. What do y'all do to how would you fix this?
But that's because they don't follow that same thing that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
They don't do it because that's the way it's always been done. They want to make it better. If there's a way to make it better, I don't care if this is the way I've trained for the last 10 years. If there's a better way, I'm completely open because it makes the kid better.
Right. It was amazing. I mean, years ago, he had a kid that played for him, Chad Flack, who was just an amazing player, played at Carolina, you know, played on the World Series teams, you know, that almost won, you know, a couple of times. And, you know, a tremendous talent. And, you know, Bobby's trying to fix something when he was younger. You know, it's before Chad Chad was always really good, but I mean, you know, before his junior and senior. And we were talking about a couple other kids. I just saw him at the state games thing, and we're talking about things. And he's like, you know, he said, I'm trying to fix this, and I can't get this guy to do what. You know, how would I do? And he was just asking me and, you know, talk to other guys. And, I mean, just trying to get, you know, an idea and opinions on how to maybe fix this. He didn't have all the answers. And that's the most misunderstood thing about guys that are, and people in general, that are great at what they do. They're always trying not to reinvent the game, but find better ways to teach it or whatever they're doing. You know, are there any changes I can make now that are 5 to 10 years down the road? Can I implement those changes?
You always got to be open to do what's best.
It's amazing the difference.
All right. My final word on electronics in baseball. I want the box. I love the box on TV. I want the electronic strike zone. That's all I want. I want the umpire to stay behind there, but I want the strike zone to be in that box because sometimes some personality gets in there and they start changing. They change the inconsistency that has nothing to do with the game, and that's where I have a problem.
I want to fight.
I don't want
to go. I want to go to a fight in a baseball game. I'm kidding. That's what they say about hockey. But I think the more humanistic behavior you take out of competition, the more boring it will become. And then you would just have laissez-faire type fans.
Well, I'm hoping that's where we've gotten to now. That's why I'm hoping that would help.
Football's getting the same way.
Yeah.
It's more of an entertainment thing, which is fine because money's money.
Yeah.
But it's not okay because things are based on quality and value in the end because that's what they fall back on and that's how they last. Where if it's just all style-based, it comes and goes with the wind. So remember this.
Got to have substance.
Your substance creates its own style.
That's
all
exactly
right. Mark
right.
McGuire's muscles, regardless of whether you like he was on whatever he was taking, right? His muscles really created his own style, and everybody wanted to see that big dude hit that ball 9,000 feet and then run around those bases with those big muscles.
All right, I'm going to give you the T-ball story quickly. Okay, Mark, if you're not listening, you'll have to come back and catch it later. Here's the T-ball story.
All right.
Wesley was playing T-ball. This would have been when he was 5 or 6. His mother and I were separated, if I'm not mistaken. I had been called and asked if I would take a team because they had too many kids. And I agreed to take a team.
Right.
I would have been 33, 4, 5, somewhere in there. And I agreed to take a team. But here's what they did. They took 2 kids off of each team that were not very good athletes, and they put them all on my team. We became the Bad News Bears, and that was all right. We spent a lot of practice time running bases in the correct direction, going first, second, third, home. We would finish a game. Coach, did we win? No. Had no idea. Playing in the dirt in the dugout, whatever.
What's for snack after?
Okay.
Right.
Always had snack.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I did. We had one team that was really good, and the guys that coached that were guys I went to school with. Okay? We were winning. They had not lost a game. We were, it's T-ball. It happens.
Right.
We're Mulligan. Got a kid that misses second base.
No.
They go nuts wanting an out. Dr. Kale Singh. Kale picked tomatoes for me. He was one of the umpires, West Lincoln Optimists.
Yes, sir, buddy.
And he came out there, and I said, Kale, I'm going to tell you something. I said, if you call him out, I'm going to whip your ass. And then I'm going to take every one of those coaches over there, and I'm going to whip their ass. And then I'm going to take my kids off the field. I said, this would not happen if they were winning.
Right.
But they're losing, and they can't stand it because they know they're losing to the kids that they gave away that they didn't want on their team.
Right.
I said, now, you do what you want to do. I said, but I'm telling you now, because I was young enough to still do it then. He was not out.
Good for you.
And then they're mouthing at me, and I'm like, look.
Yeah.
You don't want to settle this here. We wound up losing, so everybody was happy.
Oh, yeah,
we
of course.
Didn't win a game, and this was my first experience that really bothered me. The parents were like, well, now, at the end of the year, we're going to have a cookout. Everybody gets a trophy. I'm like, what? Because that's what they did.
They definitely having a cookout.
We did not win a game, but we got trophies. Now, Lindsay said, but Wesley's batting ritual, I don't remember. We had so many unique ones. I remember Christopher Iones he would go up there and he would wrap that plate a couple times.
Yeah, right.
Pick up that shoe, take that bat and pop it against the bottom of it.
Bruise his shoe real good. Bruise his foot.
God, I was never.
I saw that.
I had a kid playing. One more. Had a kid playing third base. He kept sneaking up. I said, back up. You're going to get hit. Would not listen. He kept getting closer and closer. Pow! Right between the eyes.
Oh.
Left stitch marks in the skin.
Fantastic.
And all I said was, I told you. I tried to tell you don't get that close.
See, now, all right. Okay, there it is. Now, we've been talking about brushing people back and hitting people.
He was on third base. No, he got hit by a hit ball. He got a line drive.
Wait a minute. All right, hold on.
He got a line drive to the forehead.
All right, so the kid is running at third.
No, he just kept.
No, I understand. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, so he was playing third base, and he kept creeping in. Yeah. Well, that's just crazy. Yeah, you're gonna wear it.
Now, and T-ball balls were not that hard,
It's squishy balls, yeah.
But it left stitch marks.
Oh, yeah.
It left a stitching print on his forehead. I didn't laugh, but I wanted to because I kept telling you, back up. You're going to get popped. Back up. Nope, he had this. Hands down on the knees. He's ready. Pow! 1 year. That was it. 1 year. I wasn't made for that.
I got a baseball story. It's really quick.
Oh, my wife said we were together. Okay. So I guess I weren't with her. Good call, honey. Good morning. I didn't know you was listening.
Ooh.
Yeah, Wesley was the same way. He would hit home plate. They'd all go up there and tap home plate. Good. Yeah. I don't know if they was trying to put it in the ground or what they were doing exactly, but never again. That couldn't happen. All right, I got to go. I got a job to go to. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Juju will be back in the house. He's out of school. We'll see you bright and early about 8 o'clock. Hope you have a nice day. It's going to be warmer today, but not a lot warmer. See you then.